looking like the dot. You are live. Welcome. Block the haters. We are just going to jump right into it. Okay. You see this big old circle back here? I'm blocking the haters. They got my back.
Yeah, get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Exactly. Today we're discussing effective ways to handle negativity and deal with, hey, Janella, and deal with those who offer unsolicited advice without adding value, whether it's your family, friends, coworkers. We're sharing strategies to shut down negativity and help you thrive. I'm Sean, Queen of DC.
And
On this channel, on this channel, I post my travel tips and adventures from around the world. My goal is to inspire you to pursue your dreams despite fear and naysayers. And if this resonates with you, hit that subscribe button now. The notification bell for updates on new videos. And yeah, so and also so you'll know when I have special guests, like my lovely guest now, Tasha. Welcome, Tasha. I am going to share a little bit about Tasha. Tasha is, I was recently on Tasha's channel, Tasha Journeys, to talk about my travel journey. Tasha is a fellow world traveler with 13 countries visited last year, and we met in Chiang Mai last year. She's been, a wonderful friend and just a valuable resource along this journey because she's been through taking the path that I'm on and just really an overall great person. Tasha is a certified public accountant, and she's the founder of Financial Garden, which she'll tell us more about. Welcome. Thank you for joining me, Tasha. Please introduce yourself to our
well,
audience.
first, thank you for having me, Queen of DC, aka Queen of KL, Queen of Vietnam, Miss Viral Sensation. I'm on here with a celebrity. So thank you for having me
You're
on
welcome.
here. And we're gonna talk about that, like how haters have little hating jokes. That though, she viral, y'all, on Instagram. I want you to go viral on YouTube too. But thank you for that introduction. Only thing I have to add to it is that my sabbatical has come to an end. I did it for 13 months, and when it was all said and done, I did 5 continents and 18 countries when it was all said and done. I'm back in the US. I'm not too excited about being back, but I'm adjusting. And I really came back here to work in my purpose, which is financial garden, tongue tied, which is a
Mhm.
nonprofit organization that financially educates youth. So I'm based in Metro Detroit. So myself and my team, we go into the classroom and teach kids, teenagers, and educators how to win with money.
Excellent. And you have some great content on your channel. You're always going live, giving valuable information. And this is a certified public account. So she knows what she's talking about. A lot of people out here, reverend without the credentials, but check out her channel, Tasha Journeys, subscribe, and her information is invaluable, particularly as you're on your road to financial literacy and stability and managing your money.
Yes.
Is that
Thank you.
right? So, yes. And okay, block the haters. Okay, now, Tasha, we're gonna start. I guess I'll start first, right? And then we can take it from there. And one thing I was thinking about because it came to my mind, one of the things that I had to when I became an adult and made a big, huge decision. And when I was saying with block the haters, it could be from the people closest to you. And what I realized in some instances, let's say with family, let's start with family first. we got haters in our families. We do. Um, we got those haters, but then we got people, and we can, sometimes it's a misunderstanding because it could be out of fear. And I had to recognize that sometimes it's just out of fear and love. For example, and this is my number one strategy for dealing with naysayers or negativity. What I consider negativity is, I'm trying to find the better, is where you have to set parameters. And I say that because I'll share this story. My big girl decision, this was a big adult decision. I worked in the US Senate. I was a legislative assistant and a speechwriter. And in that position, you have to, I was in that job total of 7 years and was promoted. And I wrote at the highest level, excelled at that. And I didn't love the job. I was like, man, I was working hard,
Mm-hmm.
for somebody else. And I just, Capitol Hill, you gotta love it. Those people, you gotta love it. And I was like, I'm tired of this. This is the least I can do. What's the most I can do? I know I can write. DC is government relations city, so I should
Mm-hmm.
always be able to find a job. But this is what's the most I can do, and I got to figure this out. So I decided, girl, I've been quitting my job and setting up sabbaticals and new journeys since the '90s, honey. So
Okay.
I decided I'm gonna quit my job. I'm gonna quit my good government job, what they consider your good government job. But we were in the city, we were a little elite. We were a little elite. But I was gonna quit my job at the U.S. Senate, and what was I gonna do? I don't know. I had some entrepreneurial goals, figure it out. But I'm getting out of here. And I said, what you got to do? Just the same thing I did. That's why I think it's very simple. When people say, what did you do? How can I do it? It's very simple. And you can attest to this. You eliminate debt or you downsize, make
Yes.
plans, and you bounce. That's what I did. That's all I did. Those 3 steps.
Right.
So that was the goal in a year to be out. And I always give myself a plan. I don't care if it's 6 months to a year. So I gave myself a year, girl, and went to the bank and everything, consolidated my debt. They gave me the check. I'm on the road. So I was very
Yes.
confident in my decision that I was leaving, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, I don't tell people my next steps. It has to be a close confidant. Um,
I'm
like,
with you on that.
you know what I'm saying? I don't tell everybody what I'm doing. I my close knit. Now, my father, rest his soul, he was just my biggest supporter. He taught me how to save money. He is who I went to for advice all the time. Didn't matter what. I respected him, his opinion. He was the smartest man I ever know. And so I went to him to share that, hey, I'm quitting my job. And oh my God, child, that man he had 50, 11 million questions. I'm like, what the
And
hell?
you can't
What
leave your good
about
government job. You can't do that.
what's your good government job? What about health insurance? What about you ain't got no other job set up? He say ain't, you don't have another job set up. What you gonna do about this? Girl, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. And this is when you when you're comfortable with you're very confident in your resolve and your decision to do what you have set forth to do. Nobody can sway you. So for me, I didn't take it as hating, but to me, I'm like, okay, now this ain't positive.
Right.
You putting a lot on me, and I don't have time for this because I got a plan, and I don't need the negativity. I don't need the doubt because I'm very comfortable and confident,
Right.
you know. And that was his fear. My parents paid for my college tuition. I didn't have any loans. they, so they set me up. Okay.
Mhm.
And so he's just like, man, what the heck is she doing? Quitting that
Right.
good government job. Him and my stepmother, I laugh about that to this day, where she said, girl, we thought you was crazy.
Huh? When
We
you
thought,
step out the box, everybody gonna think you crazy.
yes, unnecessary energy. So you know what I told him? I said, I am not seeking your permission. I was simply sharing with you my plan.
And that's
And I
key.
said, fine, it's okay. It's okay. And we left it at that. And then when we talked, because we talked all the time, he would bring it up. I said, because I told him in that conversation, I said, I'm not going to bring it up no more. That's it. I set the boundaries and the parameters. So the next time we talk, he said, well, what about I said, now, didn't I tell you we're not talking about this? And because that's how he was. He respected the boundaries and he left it alone. He'll bring it up periodically, and I say, now, what I tell you?
Right.
Because I'm just like him. And so he left it alone. And at the end of the year in December, I called him and I said, well, I just called to say, don't call me at the office because I don't work there anymore. He said, what? You don't work there anymore? I said, you thought I was playing. Ain't nobody playing. I told you.
Right. Now, when you quit, that's when you were going on your sabbatical. When you
Girl,
quit,
no,
was it?
I just quit. I
Yeah.
quit.
Okay.
Well, I guess you call it sabbatical back then, but I quit my job and I didn't have a job lined up. What
I
I
got you.
did was I saved my money back then. I eliminated my debt. And once I eliminated my debt, and let me tell you something, how I found out about how to do this, Tasha. My girlfriend, she's actually one of my best girlfriends now. She came back up to the office. We worked together. She came to the office and she said, um, I went to the bank and they gave me a check. I'm gonna pay off my debt or pay off my and I said, what they did? What? She said, yeah, girl, they wrote me a check and I'm gonna pay off my stuff. I said, they wrote you a check for some, I didn't know. And she said, yeah. And I said, okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the bank and ask them, can they give me a check to pay off my credit cards instead of me trying to pay it little by little. Let me pay it off in one lump sum and just pay the bank with the lowest interest rate. With the
Mhm.
lower interest rate. Because she said, I get the lower interest rate with the bank. And I said, thank you. I'm going to go down to the bank. And what I did, the lady said, okay, she said, I remember her. She still work at the bank. She said, I went to the credit union. I said I could pay it off in a year because I knew I would be gone in a year. She said, no, I'm gonna give you 2 years for your debt ratio is not, I guess too high. And
Okay.
then there's no penalty for you paying it off early.
Okay.
So you can still pay it off early, but I don't want your debt ratio to be too high. And I said, okay. And they wrote me a check for all of my credit cards. So I took the check, I paid it off, and I just had that one loan from the bank. And girl, guess how much debt was? But that was a lot of money back then. Show
You about to tell your business, so I would guess 20,000.
20,000. 20,000. Girl,
Listen, you
no.
don't know. You don't know the stories I hear working one on one with people and they
This
finances.
was in the
So
90s. This was in the 90s. Guess how much?
okay, I'll say 13,000.
13.
You
No.
listen. You let me tell you, people out here they got a ton of debt. And I know this was in the 90s, but honey child, it's people that I'm working with that still trying to pay off stuff they got from the 90s. Okay.
Mind, mind you, the income in the 90s ain't like the incomes now. So
I got you. Okay, so I
no, girl, no, girl, I would still been working probably. That much debt back then. No, girl, my debt was about 2,000. have it.
Listen, these
Cause all
people
I did,
really
remember, I was young. Happy hour started on Wednesday to Sunday, and we
look,
rest.
I used to be
I
in
had
that
so much
era.
child. If I had all that disposable income then to save, and so girl, I used to pull out $20 a week. I say I'm eating in the cafeteria now, and they's like, no, you go out, we pay for your lunch. I'm like, that's not the point. I only need to use this $20. I don't need you to pay for me. We going out for drinks. We'll pay for you. I don't need you to pay for it. I got the money, girl. And they like, no, come on. Because when you get out there, it ain't stopping. You're not stopping. And I was like, no, girl, but I paid off that $2,000. It wasn't more than 2,000. Okay, if it went to two, it was five. I don't know. I don't think it was that much. But I tell you what, I guess how much money I saved once I paid it off to quit my job. Guess how much back then I saved?
Oh, listen. I was waiting. You was ready to come to the screen on me on the 20,000. Oh no.
Right. Guess how much?
It's hard for me to guess because I just knew when you was saying credit card, I'm like 20,000. I just knew it
No,
was gonna be high.
no, because
No.
no, it wasn't high. Because I think I paid off my I think I had already paid off my credit card from college. So I think this was a new debt I had accrued. You know what? It might have been 5,000.
Okay.
Between two and five. Between two and five.
So you said how
Between
much money you saved?
But
By
once I paid it off, because I paid it off in less than a year. So guess how much I saved within that year? Because it was a whole year plan. Guess how much I saved?
what in interest
No, just
in
my
general?
savings.
Oh, just in general? I
Because
think
I paid. Because here's my strategy. I always still save. I always
right.
still save. And And my dad taught me to save because I was like, I don't make enough to save. I don't make. He was like, Sean, you gotta save something. I said, I don't make enough to save. He said, I don't care if it's $25 a week, bi-weekly, a month. You got to start saving something.
I'm with
I
your
was,
dad.
and so I started saving 50, and it started. And I was like, oh, I like this. I didn't even miss it. But okay, I saved $10,000
Wow.
in that year, and
Oh
so
goodness.
I was like, okay, I'm out. December, I was out.
Oh my
Back
goodness.
then in the 90s, it was about 98,
Okay.
1997, 98. I was out. $10,000. I was out.
Listen, that's good.
And
Ten
I'm
thousand
live,
back then.
huh?
I said 10,000 back then. 10,000 now is still a lot of money. So 10,000 back then, you was like, I'm rich.
Girl, I was like, what my daddy worried about? I ain't got to call you for no money.
Oh my goodness. I know you would listen. Because that's probably, I mean, the, I don't even know what that would be inflation wise, but let's just say that's like eight double now or close to, at least 15 or 16,000 a day. What 10,000 get you back in. So that's that's a that's amazing. To save 10,000 in 98 in
Yeah.
1 year.
Yeah.
Listen.
And so that was that. So the setting parameters, you have to set parameters with people. And particularly that's why, you if you're confident in what you're doing, and even if you're not, you still set parameters and boundaries with people, and they have to respect those boundaries. And I don't care who it is, period. And it doesn't matter whether it's my father, whether friend, it doesn't matter. You have to respect my boundaries because
Absolutely.
that's what I'm giving you. No hard feelings, but you're going to respect those boundaries. And now, how about you?
I would say, as far as the setting the boundaries, you got to set them and stick to it as well. Just similar to you. I before I left, so I shared out. I traveled for 13 months. I knew had wanted to do it for years. And once I made a decision, I knew I was going to throw myself a nice going away party, because I had never had anything big to celebrate myself for real, for real. And I'm like, oh, I'm
Mhm.
going out with a bang, okay? And
Right.
I was having surgery in January. So like around November, December of 2021, I'm like, I'm gonna do it. And I start in December, I started looking at event spaces, because I'm like, June is going down. My birthday is June 14th. And I'm like, I'm gonna be starting my sabbatical. I didn't share with anybody what I was doing. I was just
Right.
saying I'm throwing a birthday party. So I
And why?
started sending
And why
huh?
didn't you share it? Why?
Because I already know people and they negativity. And that's friends and family, because you don't
Yeah.
understand, you have your fears, and so you're gonna start projecting. And like you said with your dad asking me all these questions that I ain't about to answer, so I ain't telling you flat out. So
Right.
um I just knew that would be the reaction, and I'm still trying to figure out, answer the questions myself, and I don't need somebody asking me that, and then just trying to see and wait to see what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna see if you fail. Basically, you ain't gonna be able to do that. And even if people say they were going to support me, I felt like back then, if I would have told them, I just didn't believe it. So I started sending out save the dates and invitations in February, because June is graduation month and baby shower fever. So I'm like, I wanted everybody to know, like, you had enough notice to know about my party. And when I mailed out the invitations, I only put in a select few that I was actually going to leave the country and I was going to travel and quit my job. So
Mm-hmm.
even a lot of people didn't even know up until a couple weeks before I got on the plane that I was leaving.
Right.
So I just was, it wasn't, I didn't need nobody help. I didn't need nobody permission, like you said. And it wasn't, it wasn't, I'm doing this all by myself. So even when I did start to share with people, because I do have a lot of family and friends a lot of my friends, my closest friends, stay out of state. So I did, tell them like, hey, you should come because I'm about to be gone for a year. And I was like, I don't know if I'm coming back. I didn't want to come back. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I was just like, letting them know what was going to happen. And I remember calling some my uncles and stuff, and they were just like, "What you gonna do? Huh? What? What?" Is some confusion around it. Um, my mom was sad, but then when I told my mom I'm flying you out every 3 to 4 months, she was like, "Oh, when you leave, let's go." You know what I mean?
Oh,
Right. And
I see you.
my mama is my favorite travel buddy, so you gotta check out our vlogs and stuff. We went to Egypt and Australia, and the Bahamas
Yes.
on sabbatical. But just back to what you were
And I
asking about
love
the
that Tasha flies her mom out, I think every 3 months to visit her while she was on her travels.
yeah,
What a
yeah,
beautiful experience for your mom and you
yes.
together.
And I
Yeah.
was proud of her because I was like, I feel like a parent. I'm like, are you going to be able to travel on a plane for
Uh-huh.
16 hours? Because we travel together and I'm always doing everything, like making sure we get to the flight. If my mom would just show up,
Right.
she don't know what's going on. I'm like, we got to go here. Come on. Da, da, da. So I was like, you got to be paying attention. But there were some coworkers, I remember as far as work, I've always said like we can be work cordial, but if we work at the place, same employer, we get our check from the same place. I can't really truly consider you a friend until I separate from that company. So
Mhm.
even though my work friends and stuff, I didn't tell them until I put in my 2 weeks notice. So I
Mhm.
called them.
Mhm.
So I worked for a really big company. We have over 10,000 employees and all of that. And we didn't even work in the same department. I worked in accounting. They may work in another part of accounting. Then I was in operations. So it's not like I saw these people every day type of thing. And I sent
Mhm.
them, I called some of them and like, hey, I'm like, I put in my notice. What? Why some people felt like they should have known sooner. No, why you need to know sooner? Then, well, you gonna quit? What you gonna do? You sure you want to do that? Everything I thought they were saying
And
it. You know what I mean?
the work people was saying it.
Co-workers,
Now
how
who are they? See?
And then
Child.
pocket watching. How you able to afford to do that?
Girl,
Yeah.
listen about the pocket watches. You know, when I first quit my job, you know, people was wondering how she getting her money. What's she doing? They wouldn't ask because they already don't step to me asking me nothing like that. But they wanted to know because you know they wanted to know. And then when you do what you do, then they'll come to you and say, "Oh, I wish I could do what you do. I
Yeah.
admire what you're doing." Go ahead. I'm
Just
sorry. They
no, I'm
watching.
just saying, just I knew that was going to come, which is why I didn't tell anybody until the end. And I had health conditions. I just said I made up my mind in November, December. You know what? If everything comes back with clean bill of health after the surgery, I'm out. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like I'm not gonna live in fear because I need this health insurance because of all this medical stuff going on with me. I literally got all green lights in April. And I mind you, I had in my head, I'm booking, I had my flights booked. I was like, if I still need to go back and have another procedure,
Mhm.
then you know what? This is gonna just be a big birthday celebration, and then I'll be celebrating my birthday in Paris. That's all how I looked at it. So I still was just like, I'm gonna really be living on faith on this and see how it goes.
Right.
And even with that, people are like, didn't you just have surgery?
All up in your business. All up in your business. You know, and it's interesting because I don't do people like that. I don't overstep my boundaries. I, you know, I say that 10% for what I don't know. So I don't go there. You know, maybe some things are not for me to know. I'm not going to broach that issue. And you're right when you said 2 week notice. Girl, I moved everything when I was leaving DC this time around. I only told a close knit, the people who had to know. And my soror just asked me last night, "Did you tell? Why didn't you tell people?" I said, "Because what was the point? I'm trying to shut down business. I'm trying to shut down the home. I ain't got time to answer 50 million 11 questions that I don't even know the answers to. I
Yeah.
don't have time for that." And so the friends, I gave 2 weeks notice. I even gave my parents a 2 weeks notice. So when they start seeing these boxes, okay, a couple of boxes, but then I start sending a couple of more boxes, and then I was like, well, I think it's time to tell them.
Yeah, like
you
I,
know,
I'm with you as far as that. There's some people I had told because I wanted to make sure they were coming from out of town to come to my party. But just like you just said, I went into the very last minute to tell certain people. Like you packing, you telling people. If I wasn't having a party, I would have did the same thing. Them people would have found out when I was on the plane.
right? And it's none of their business. I'm not privy to yours, so why are you privy to mine? And then they
Exactly.
have all this question, yeah, how you afford that? The same way you can afford to live in your big, nice, plush home.
I
You
said the
work,
same thing.
you save, you know, you do what you do.
Exactly. I don't. I similar to what you just said. I'm not going to overstep. People don't know how to read a room nowadays. I feel like it's just getting worse. Um, why are you asking me how can I get the curiosity, and then I will say on the flip side of the curiosity, people start to open up about like stuff they wanted to do but they was too scared to do it.
Yeah,
I want to do this. So at my going away party, I did have a lot of that. Like, I can't believe you doing
yeah,
this. I want to do something similar or whatever. And I appreciated that. But I got met with a lot of negativity before on I have a former friend of mine, keyword on former, is because when I was out like week 2, she was like, I can't believe you really did it. She didn't make it to my going away party. And she was like, what you gonna do when you run out of money? Excuse
well,
you?
why you putting that out there?
Goodbye. End
Right.
call. We
Don't
don't that's what we
entertain
talk
it.
about. You've been knowing me for too long, and guess what? If I run out of money, I ain't never calling your line. Have I ever in my life asked you for money? Not never.
Right, right.
So
That,
because
yeah.
you are miserable in your life decisions, now you want to shut me down. And mind you, I'm already gone. I already quit my job and all this stuff. Don't come and bring that negativity to me.
Right, exactly. And that's negativity. disguised as, oh no, I'm just asking. I'm just,
I'm
concerned.
concerned. I'm
Fake.
concerned.
Yeah. Mm. Go where, and then the girl say, where about yourself? Where about yourself? And here's another thing that, I think, call them out. I have to call people out on when they start saying the safety. Oh, it's unsafe over there. And don't they have, you know, have you ever been?
Listen,
No.
exactly. I just was watching a live for a few. I was watching Krishan had a live on Blackset about like basically preparing for your sabbatical. And I had made a comment that when I would have friends and family that would send me news articles, let's say I was in Mexico, which I wasn't when people died from the carbon monoxide poison. I don't know if
Yeah.
you remember that.
Mhm.
Didn't mean people dying. All right, I'm from Detroit, so let me send you all the articles that happened this morning of the people that I shot and robbed. Like,
Right.
what are we doing? Like,
You
it's crime everywhere. Don't send that to me. Like,
right. What am I getting? Yeah. What's the purpose? Have you ever even?
exactly.
The thing is, they've never even been to the country. Whether it's Vietnam, whether it's Mexico, I got it about Mexico. Oh, shouldn't be going there. Why? Have you ever been? No.
No,
Then why you so do automatically just no, you don't even hold the standard. I
yeah.
have a leg to talk.
I would say too, as far as like what the parameters, I was saying, making sure you stick to it. And the person
Mhm.
that made that comment, you have to figure out how to have the crucial conversations. Everybody don't need to be cut off because they are just projecting their fears onto you, right? What
Mhm.
I'm saying is you have to identify the patterns and when people doing that, and if they truly wish you well. And the person that I decided to just cut off, you don't wish me well. You know what I mean? There's a pattern, which so I'm not about to sit here and go back and forth with you. And my financial situation is 20 times better than yours, and we both
Mhm.
know this. So don't play in my face. So I will call people out, but I would say sometimes it's just like my silence is the answer. Okay.
Mhm.
I'm gonna move
Mhm.
different from you now. Like you're not even worth me calling out certain people. It's just like,
Mhm.
okay,
Yeah.
all right. But I want to say this funny story. So
Uh-huh.
when I went back to Paris, like this is like month 2 of my sabbatical. I ended up running into my former boss. He
Oh wow.
retired,
Uh-huh.
and I was meeting a friend who was in a travel group from Detroit, and so I knew she was going to be with other people, but it just so happened he was in this travel group. And so when I saw him, I'm like, oh, hey, he's like, I was like, I haven't ran into you in Detroit. Of all places, I run into you in Paris. This is crazy. You know what I mean? So he goes, yeah, what you doing out here? And so my friend goes, she traveling, girl. She quit. Blah, blah, blah. And she all excited for me and stuff. And he was like, you quit? Why you quit? And I'm like, because I did. And we were going to dinner and we were going to meet back up for the happy hour, right?
Mhm.
That happy hour, this man was so bothered that I quit the job. I swear to you, Shine,
In
my
Paris?
in Paris, you out
You
here with your you
you in
in
Paris worried about why I quit the job. We in Paris, fool.
Shine 45 minutes. This fool he was acting the fool, and I was like, whatever. To the point, my friend husband had to say like, I think you need like chill out to the guy
Yeah.
because it was just to the point where he was just like, I can't believe you quit. Well, why did you quit? I said, because I wanted to. Like, and he
End of
just couldn't
story.
believe it. And he was like, well, so are you gonna go back? I said, they did offer me a formal sabbatical. I don't know. I left on amazing terms with my former employer. So I'm like, I don't know where this is gonna take me, right?
So
Um,
you're telling me what you think of me.
yeah, exactly.
in that moment.
And I didn't even think about it from that way. I was just like, I'm gonna just answer this question and move. Because, like you said, I'm here. Me working me would have clocked that, checked it immediately. But my whole mentality, I'm already, it's month 2. You know what I mean? I'm back in
You're
Paris.
like, I'm in Paris.
Right.
Bonjour.
Right.
Rude. Bon blanc.
Exactly. And my friend,
Oui, oui.
she hadn't been there. So this is my second time back. And so I'm like, I know a little stuff. So I'm in a good mood. So I'm just like, whatever. And he was just like, he knows how much money I make because he was my former boss's boss. So it's like, he was just like, I mean, how are you doing this? I said, because I'm responsible. We all accountants. We all CPAs. I know what I'm doing. I mean, I ain't going to say that you a CPA, you know what you're doing with your money. But
Right.
I'm one that does. And he was just like, he was so bothered. He just kept asking questions. This is what made me pop off on his ass. I mean, on him.
Here on the pop-up.
I thought I just cuss on YouTube, but it
Girl,
bothered
you gonna get me bad. You know I'm trying.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Girl.
I said, what?
Live.
We gonna bleep that out. Bleep that out on the replay. Well, let me say this. So
I ain't believing none. It's real.
we even past. They look for it in the first 15 minutes of you swearing, but only one cuss word popped out. But he goes, "How old are you?" He was like, "How old are you again?" What? I was like, "I'm 36 at the time." And he goes, "So what did the men in your family say? Like, are you not gonna get married and have kids?"
Oh, now see, he doing too much. Now see, I would have had enough wine in me to just be like, look, bruh.
His wife was sitting there. She was like, looking at him, and I said,
Handle your man.
Right.
Handle
I
your
said, I know
man.
you're not asking me about my lady product, like my ovaries. That's when and people was looking like, because you are so bothered by the fact that I'm living the life you probably wish you had the courage to do younger, but you didn't.
Right.
You stayed and did what you wanted to do, and now I'm not knocking you for it. That's what kills me. I'm over here minding my business, and you
Jealous.
so bothered how I'm living my life that you want to sit up here and try to point out what you feel like I'm lacking in my life to bring me to your level. I'm gonna pop off on you, but I'm gonna remove myself from the situation because you're the dumb. So yeah, let you retire in Paris with your wife and worried about what I'm doing, living my single life, ain't worried about what you got going on. Yeah.
Audacity.
It's on sale.
Girl. Okay. Yeah, that's a pop off. Like, what is this? I don't want you. I didn't wake up to you. What is the issue? Handle your man.
Please.
Bye. Bye. Get your mans. Get your mans.
Girl.
To ask you something personal in that. It's so disrespectful.
So, and that's why I still get upset about it to this day, was because it was so disrespectful. You know what I mean? Like we're in a setting, it's like it was about maybe 15 of us total. You know what I mean? At this restaurant, having conversation, going back and forth. And you are determined to change the mood because you are so upset about what I'm doing with my life.
Right.
That is
jealous.
pitiful.
It is. Pitiful. Jealous. Jealous. Pitiful. Sad. 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 That is girl sad. Well, you did right. What you say? I know how you get.
Oh, all of me came out.
A little bit of it.
You was trying to see that and start swearing on here. I was like, I know you ain't.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You know, Donald asks, what are y'all safety parameters when traveling alone internationally? I use the same safety parameters as I do traveling around America, DC, just always conscious. And I have not, in all the places I've been, I haven't felt unsafe. And I am conscious of the nighttime. And if it's too late, then I'll take a Grab. We use Grab over in Asia and other countries, or Uber, and just the same precautions. But I have not had any issues in terms of safety where I felt uncomfortable. And if I do feel uncomfortable, I take my, like you say, remove myself from a situation and just be very conscious of my surroundings. But I've walked in, for example, in Vietnam, they have alleys. Man, I ain't walk in America. I ain't walking through no alley. Your girl ain't walking down no alleys. I don't care how clean they look. I ain't doing alleys in America, but in Vietnam, you see me walking down alleys because there are, pathways to homes and other restaurants and things of that nature. And overall, the culture is safe. And so I
Mm.
have not had any issues. Even in Europe, I've traveled throughout Europe, and I just use the same precautions. If it's nighttime, if it's late, and I don't feel comfortable, then I'll get a ride.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Tasha?
Same for me. There were some countries or situations I felt unsafe in. They must not have been too bad because I can't remember them off the top of my head.
I
But
was gonna say there.
I can't remember, but I do know. So when I was traveling, I would do travel diaries. I had like a newsletter that I sent out to people who subscribe
Uh-huh.
to my diary. So I do remember writing about it, but it escapes me right now. But I would say similar to yours, the same safety precautions that I use in Detroit when I'm traveling around anywhere else. And I would say the main thing is the difference in how I move is I'm way more alert. I'm not on my phone. So like well here if I'm I don't use public transit here, but I'm just saying when I'm at a restaurant or whatever, if I'm on I'm on my phone. You know, I'm not really I'm feeling more comfortable because I'm somewhere I know, right? But when I was traveling, I'm diligent. I'm not walking, looking on my phone. Even if I'm looking for directions, I'm stepping inside of a restaurant to recalibrate myself because I don't want to look disheveled. You know what I mean? Um,
Right.
like, I would say that's night or day for me. And I would say sometimes it's a little bit, you have to just be more alert. I would say like when I have my carry-on and shoulder bag when I'm on a train going places or whatever, um, I don't speak the language. And English is spoken in a lot of countries. However, you're just watching for body language. You know what I mean? If I feel something about to pop off, I'm gone. I'm not I hear a lot of news articles with women here in the US. They don't want to they felt that the guy looked weird, but they didn't want to offend him. I don't give a I'ma offend you and worry about me and remove myself from any situation. So it's just more like when I remember being in Spain in Barcelona, at night and going back, I stayed in the hostel or whatever, trying to be in groups or with other people that were at the hostel. We're going back from being out late at a bar or whatever. Because Barcelona is known for pickpocketers. Uh, and
Yeah,
taking
they
people out.
are. They
Yeah,
will watch you too. Yeah, we've
yeah.
seen.
So in those situations, I'm having my phone. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to just act just all over the place. So I would Google certain countries and figure out things I need to know. Barcelona was hands down what I remember was like don't
Yeah,
fall for someone trying to take your picture. You know what I mean? Because then they're gonna want money. Being aware of that, like in different everywhere I travel. Like once I had that put in my mind from a Barcelona tip, this is before I left the US. I'm not going to let somebody just take my picture. Like me, if me and Sean was out or whatever, Shane mine was a little bit different, but I'm not going to just be like, oh, here's my phone, take my picture, and then they take off with my phone or they demand I pay them for taking the picture. Like
yeah, they
just
do
being
that.
aware.
They do that in Rome too. They do
Okay.
that in Rome, and so those are some of you can, like you said, research some of the scams. And I don't give my phone to anybody. usually if they taking a picture, it's a family, a lady or some young teenagers who can get the picture right.
Yeah. And
You know, or some
I'm sorry, go ahead.
or someone like that. So I don't just give my phone to anybody. And you're right. Um, I go to the side if I'm looking for something in my phone. And I'm a public transportation person. So depending on where I am, it's usually a lot of people in public transportation in the cities I go to. So, and I'm
Mhm.
very public transportation, even in DC.
Yeah.
So I'm very comfortable with it. So I know how to move. And I
Hmm.
think being from from the city, it's just one of those innate things that you always conscious of how close people are to you, your boundaries, and just like I said, I live in DC, so I'm suspicious.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. Like I
I
just,
can never
being
say.
being from DC, being from Detroit, you kind of looking like, what's your angle? Back up. I don't know you
Yeah,
like that. It's just a different way that you move.
yeah.
Um, it came back
And
to me that go ahead.
go ahead. No, and I'm saying, and so I'm a very open person. So I'm open to meeting people, and I'm very, but I do pride myself, and I thank God for this, that has given me a gift of discernment. So I typically am a good judge of character. And so if somebody's rubbing me the wrong way, then I know, but I haven't had, you know, bad incidents. If you do, I picked up on it and I'm out. But I look at people with that type of eye of it doesn't feel right, then I'm out.
Oh, I would. It can't. The unsafe moments came back to me. But one last thing I would say about just general safety before sharing that is I was vlogging, so I had to figure out I would have to survey the area and stuff first before if I realized if I want to just pull my phone out and start vlogging. And then setting up my tripod and trying to get pictures of myself. Like, am I in the area? And just being just overly
Yeah,
aware. And so the whole time I traveled, no phone stolen or anything like that. So it was just being diligent. So the two times I felt unsafe, um, was unfortunately it was in Tanzania. And I did have to pop all the way off because I just feel like, sometimes you just have to go there. Which I was like, in hindsight, I'm like, I mean, you could make a phone call like you at home for somebody to pull up.
right. I
So
do that all the time because I talk to myself thinking when I'm walking anyway, and so I act like, and I do this if I don't want to be bothered with me on the phone. I mean, yes, okay, I'm on my way. And also, that's another thing I do is I wave if I see
Mhm.
somebody around me that I'm like, what are you doing around me? I'll wave like I'm waiting on somebody. I do
Yeah.
that a lot. I do that in DC. I do that in the city. And my girlfriend, and I used to do this going back to when I lived on Capitol Hill, and she still laugh about it to this day. Because at nighttime, I would walk home, and she said, I said, I just act crazy. If I see somebody, I'll go, yeah. And I just start talking to myself and be like, yeah. And you talk to yourself, they're not gonna bother you. They're not gonna bother you. So I'm walking down the street talking to myself.
But I ain't never thought about doing that.
For 30 years. Uh-huh.
No, I was just gonna say, you crazy. I was somebody acting crazy that threw me off, but I was gonna say, um in Tanzania, when I was taking the ferry from Dar es Salaam to Zanzibar, um, I got into it with this guy. It was a couple situations in that whole ferry. It was just heavily congested. The first time I went down there, I had the tuk-tuk driver. He could just feel I felt uncomfortable. And he was like, I'm gonna
Mhm.
wait for you right here, so you can go inside and make sure everything is good. I didn't have my luggage with me or whatever. And I'm like, thank you. I went down there before I left. So I'm sorry, I'm jumping. I was
Mhm.
taking the ferry to Zanzibar. And so I didn't want to wait to the day of me leaving because I read online. Like I said, I would YouTube videos. I would look up one in that moment of how to get to somewhere else. and everybody was saying it was chaotic. So I'm like, let me get a game plan together for when I actually have my bag and my laptop, with me before going.
Sure.
So the tuk-tuk driver, it was just chaotic. And I was just like, whoa, y'all need to back up. And he was like, okay, I'll wait for you. You don't look comfortable. So I went in there and came back and I'm like, thank you for waiting for me. So the next day, I had my stuff and this guy started grabbing my bag. And he's like, oh, I got it for you or whatever. I'm going to bring it up to the ferry dock. No, don't touch my, like, I don't need your help. He keep going because they're doing what they're trying to do is make you give them a tip. Like, but I
Oh.
don't need your help though. So
Uh-huh.
now we get into it because I'm literally cussing him out to put my bags down. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And I'm like, if we got a bucket here, I guess that's what we gonna do because you're not gonna touch my stuff. And I already told you to put it down. You know what I mean? So now I'm making a scene, everybody looking like, what is going on? And he said he's trying to take my stuff. So then once I go through all of that, then with my bag and going to get my ticket, everybody, because you had to show your citizenship, so they see I'm American, then they trying to just demand because they think I got money.
Uh-huh.
I was more frustrated. So get to the ferry dock on there. Another guy takes my stuff. This time he had his uniform and stuff on and was taking it through. And I told him, I don't have no money. I'm not tipping you. Put my bag. Oh, no. So I just went through this 20 minutes ago, get in there and sit down. He's like, I said, no. He tried to walk me out of the thing, so got into it again. So it was just like,
Oh my God.
it was a lot going on, and I was very highly upset. Then when I
Yeah.
get off the ferry, I had arranged pickup with my Airbnb host. So certain countries I would go to, if I read up that it was a little chaotic at the train station or terminal, and if I knew I was getting there when it was about to be dark, if the Airbnb has transportation, I'll just pay extra. I don't want the stress of trying to figure it out with my
Yeah.
luggage.
Now,
So go
yeah,
ahead.
I don't arrive in new places in the dark. I always come during the day also. That's a safety issue for me. Okay.
Yeah, and it was certain countries it was like I got there at 5 or 6 and it was dark.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, and then the taxi cab driver he would not leave me alone. And I once I went off on him, he left me alone. It was just like, why do I have to go
You
there?
I got to go through this. I got to go get ugly with y'all. I'm just trying to
Why?
come here and relax.
And it's just like, okay, what do I have? I'm looking like because I have my keys on me still from home and my thing. Let me get my keys. If I gotta shank you, I guess we gonna go to war out here. Like
Not
because
straight.
if it's
You
fight or
got
flight,
nails.
I'm like, I hope this don't get bad. But if it's fight or flight, I'm gonna fight to the death. Like I ain't running.
Right.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
like you
So I
don't know
mean,
where I'm from.
I
You
mean,
don't
if
know.
you got a gun, that's different. But I'm just saying in general, like that's not what I'm about. So
Right.
if you disrespecting me and I keep telling you to leave me alone, my spidey senses just go into fight mode. You know what I
Right.
mean? And it's to Miss Giles' point. I think growing up in urban areas, you just have that. Like your head's on a
True.
swivel. You always like, you know what I'm saying? You just like this
Yeah.
immediately tense, like, okay, fight or flight. It's fight mode. You know what I mean? So
Right. My friend say your mean factor high. I'm like, what you talking about? Whatever. I ain't even mean, but I just was like, what? What you yeah. Yes, and I agree with Miss Jobs. We do. I think that's just one of those things of living in that city life of urban, you know, urban life
yeah.
that we accustomed to. So we've been hip to the game, the scams, the hustlers, all of that, and it's just like no, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah. And I want to
No.
say I don't promote violence. It's just
I don't know. You up here talking about shanking and all.
I had got transported back. Like some memories start popping in. I'm like, hold on, wait, this
Dang,
did
my
happen.
stuff, damn. But yeah, those are some great tips because, like you said, use what you have. Your keys and arriving. I don't stay on low floors. I refuse to stay on the first floor. I don't. I try to ask depending on where I'm coming from. Uh, I ask if I'm staying at a hotel or Airbnb, whatever, I ask, where do I pick up a taxi, the legitimate, the legal taxis,
Yep,
because
same.
every place is different. And so I want to know where, and they'll say, oh, well, you need to go upstairs or you need to be here. So I just try to find out the basic information, or I book my car service in advance for new places. It's always affordable. I use Klook around Asia because I just want to come in. I've been on a long flight or a flight. I just want to go to my destination. But around Asia, also grab is easy. But in situations where I'm new to a city, so those are things that I do to keep my comfort level and minimize any stress from flying a long flight and any safety issues I may have. And if I do come back to the same place at night, I'm comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been
Yeah.
there before. So it's like I've been there before. I know the routine. I know. And when I'm talking to my drivers, they're always asking where you from. Have you been here before? I'm like, yeah, I've been here. I live here. I've been here before.
Yeah, and and when you said that made me think of I remember in Spain a few times there were men like, oh, you're so beautiful. Are you here by yourself? Nope, I'm here with my whole squad. I'm walking, you know what I'm saying? I'm never telling anyone that I'm traveling the world by myself. That
Right.
only came when I posted pictures, like how we met. Like that's the only time. Well, yeah, I'm gonna tell you my
Right.
story. But in passing, I'm here for work. I'm meeting my sisters here. I don't even got no sister. Oh,
Right.
my sister here at university, and I'm naming
Yeah,
off places, and they like, whoa, okay, because you don't need to know that information. You know what I mean?
that's
I'm
true.
traveling the world by myself, and then I'm on sabbatical. So all this person is seeing dollar signs, dollar signs, dollar signs. You know what I'm saying? You must be rich if you're doing it. So even when I made friends with people in certain countries, I still wasn't telling them the truth. I'm here for work for 2 weeks. Bye.
Yeah,
So
because they want to know where you from. What are you doing here? And I feel the sincerity of people. So when I feel their sincerity, I tell them the truth.
yeah,
I'm comfortable with that. But you have to be comfortable within your own space to share that.
right.
And so I've never had any issues. And like I said, some of those things are just natural for me that you put in place when you don't feel right. Like, oh, like for example, I was walking last night and somebody behind me on the phone. I just moved to the side. You can come on in front of me. You can
Same.
come in front of me. I don't like anybody. That's just period. I don't like anybody walking behind me because I don't know what you're doing back there and it's dark. Come on, you come on.
But I got one more story, y'all.
Go ahead.
No,
What you laughing at? You funny.
because it's y'all gonna be like, Tasha, don't take no more ferries because you always got a problem at a ferry.
Oh Lord.
In Bali, going to Gilly T.
You're about to scrap. You're about to throw down in Bali.
It was the same type of. Oh, they was trying to get over on me, y'all. And this is the thing. You don't know what language, but it's like your spotty sense is kicking in when you feel like somebody's trying to run game on you. And let me be clear, I'm not trying to risk my life over my carry-on bag or any amount of money. It's not worth it. However, in certain situations, like this situation, I would have been stranded somewhere. So it's like you have to be forceful in certain things, right? Or I'm going to be stranded. I don't know what I'm opening myself up to. So I'm gonna cut this story short. The getting off the ferry, I paid for pickup at the other ferry port. I asked him like how many people were going, trying to get clarification. He waits till he got me in the middle of the sun, burning up, sweating. Bali is hot to say, oh, it's gonna be like 4 hours, so you should get private taxi. My friend right here can take you. No, I'm good. And he would not take me to the shuttle. So I noticed they were doing this to another woman. Like once I kept forcing him to walk me to where the shuttle was. And so I to pacify him, I said, okay, yeah, I will. Because I knew I couldn't remember the route. This is broad daylight too. But I was like, whatever price, I said, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then when we got there, I said, oh, I changed your mind because I think the shuttle's right here. Because I started seeing other people. And so he's like, oh, but you told me. I said, oh, I see the other people right here. I'm gonna go find the shuttle. Bye. Right. Follow me to the shuttle. telling the guy I couldn't get on the shuttle bus because I owed the money. I don't know. This guy's on the phone, so I step away. This other woman's having the same argument with these men, right? I step away. This guy's on the phone. He put me on a video talking to somebody. So I was like, don't record me. And I'm talking to my wife. I don't give a who you talking to. Don't record me. You know what I mean? I don't know what type of taking situation this is. Like, what recorded? So then this just escalating. And the other woman, she was actually I think she was American too. She was a white woman. She was popping all the way off. She was having her full blown Karen moment. Okay, so the two of us together, it was a situation. Okay,
Like, what is going on? Wait. I would have been like, wait a minute, what's happening?
I was just like, I wanted to get out of here because this was not an area that Grabs or Ubers or whatever came to. So they had it on lock. So pretty much, if you wanted to get to out of the scary area, so I'm over here like, how do I get out of this area? We eventually get on the shuttle. Thank goodness she was going through something else, and there was other couples that were trying to figure out like what was going on and telling us where to get on there. We got on there. He didn't take us all the way to where he was supposed to, but we got to the main area where we could figure it out with a grabber boat. But these ferry situations and stuff like that, but my gut instantly was like, before we get off this ferry port, let me confirm where we're going. You lied to me. Then you get me in a situation where I'm in the sun, I'm uncomfortable, and I don't know what's going on to try to pressure me. So come to think of it, it's been a lot of questionable moments, but I mean, it was a drop in the hat. Like I had a good time overall on my sabbatical, but it was just like you got to be ready to pop off. Like I just feel like you do.
You gotta be ready to pop off. We gonna use that, Tasha. You gotta be. That's the quote. You gotta be ready to pop off. So Donald's question, safety precaution. You gotta be ready to pop off. That's all I got.
So thank you, Donna, for asking that. We just spent a half hour on safety. I'm sorry for my long-winded stories, but y'all done jogged some memories I forgot about.
I call her Tasha Mack when she get in these moments. Janella said,
I'm sorry.
Tasha from the D.
Oh, that's too funny.
So there's your answer, Donald. All of that to summarize. You gotta be ready to pop off. But you gotta be ready to pop off though, because when you were talking about your story in Hanoi, so I was in Hanoi around Train Street, and Train Street very popular because the trains coming through and people, and you have a lot of vendors around there, and they're trying to sell you something. And so the guy comes up to me trying to sell me something, and I said, "No, I'm being nice. No, that's okay. I don't want it." He comes back up, same guy, not different guy, same guy. And I think I did a video at the time when I was recording it, on my day-to-days and my stories. And he comes back and asks me, and I said, no. I said no, because after a while, okay, you asked me once, I'm nice. I know I'm traveling, I'm abroad, you're trying to make your buck. The second time, I said, nah. Third time, here he comes back and ask anybody. I said no. And then he's like, oh, no. I say, yeah. And then walked on up. And then he left me alone. And then I was telling people, sometimes you got to be ready to pop off. And I had recorded and told the people that. I said, you just got to tell him. I said, I know he's trying to make his little dollar or whatever, but leave me alone. I ain't interested. I said, no. Get on.
And that's what I mean as far as like, I don't want people to think I was going around thinking, oh, I got to be treated a certain way. No, it's like you get in these situations, you see that people are trying to run game on you. You got to do what you got to do.
Right. So, no, you got to be ready to pop off. I'm ready. I got it coming from the Lou and I got it coming from DC. So, we do what you want to do. You do what you just, hey, and that's like the Grab drivers in Da Nang Airport. Grab has it set up You can't call a Grab from the airport because they have a monopoly where the drivers they show you the price and then you take the Grab.
Okay.
You don't go through the app. You just get the price off the off the app, and then the drivers take the money in their cash. And I'm
Okay.
like, no, don't do that. You got to do that. Cause I'm like, I'm taking a taxi because you getting on my nerve. Don't harass me. When I'm ready, I'm ready. But don't harass me. So I didn't even take the
Right.
Grab. I went to the
Leave me
taxi.
alone.
Leave me alone, so don't bother me. So yeah, you're right. You gotta be ready to pop off, and I do that when I'm in those instances where you bothering me. Um, have either of you been mistaken for Africans and treated one way, but when they learn you're American, you're treated differently? I'll speak for me first. I have not. Most people, once I open my mouth, they'll ask me the first question is, where are you from? And they know when I speak that I'm American, but I've never been mistaken for African. So I can. I was talking about this last night with a friend over dinner, um, and she was sharing the treatment, how it's different for Africans and Americans, and how Africans aren't treated well. But I haven't had that experience where I've been mistaken for African, to my knowledge. Because
I
when they ask
have.
me where I'm from, I just open my mouth and they can tell by my accent that I'm American because they can really understand me well. A lot of them say, I know you're American. I can really understand the way you speak. Go ahead,
Mhm.
Tasha.
No, I was gonna say I have experienced exactly this. It is so funny because typically when people ask me where I'm from, I always say the states. I'll say the nationality of American because we're on here, but I cannot remember. Well, she's gonna come to me when we off the live, but I do remember having two experiences in Europe where they thought that I was African, and then I spoke, and then it was a difference in how they treated me, and I was like, I'm straight because I know it had to been Spain, had to been one of them because just Spain, me and
I
Spain, we
was
don't go together.
famous
We don't.
or
Me and Spain is a no. So
Spain.
yeah, I can't remember exactly what it was in Europe or whatever, but they did think I was because I wasn't speaking. And so they do have. There's a lot of people from the diaspora in Europe, and most of them are from Africa, and they do treat them poorly because they feel like where they come from, they're poor. Like that's they how they have perceived them in Europe. That's not mine. I want to be clear. That is not my perception. Um, I can't remember, but I will say this, and when you in Africa and they find out you American, their price is going way up. That's my experience in Africa. So when I was in Ghana,
I'm not American.
look right in Ghana, before you open your mouth, they can tell just how if you are here, you can identify. In my experience, we do have a lot of people, a lot of Africans that are in the Detroit area. You can kind of spot them, how they dress,
Yeah, you
how they
can.
move, you can tell. It's the
You can.
same thing when we are in Africa. So in Ghana, they get a lot of Americans there, Black Americans that come there. So they can pick up before we open our mouth, like, those are Americans. So they're going to give me an American price because they feel like I'm rich.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was in East Africa, I was mistaken for Kenyan when I was in Tanzania and when I was in Kenya. And so in Kenya. So that was interesting because again the price is gonna go up once they find out you
You're American.
not yeah, that you American. But on the flip side in Europe is they will treat you with more respect, even in Australia too. It was like a difference, like a like type of thing. And I'm like I said, no, I'm good. I'm not gonna be acting like, oh no, I'm better because no, I whatever situation, I refuse the service. But I would just say in Africa, the price goes up when you're not from there, and that's not shocking. A lot of people say that even when they're first generation Ghanaian, for example, or Nigerian, they go back and they dialect is a little off. They charging them more because it's like you got an American or a London accent. So I do know that my experience in Africa sometimes um they'll say like, oh, we thought you were, to make you feel special, but like no. In Tanzania, because I assimilated the way I dress, I didn't really speak, I did blend in, and
Mhm.
I hung out with all Tanzanians when I was in Tanzania. They
Mhm.
did not think I was American at all. So when I spoke, I was like, oh, I don't even want to talk because the price is gonna go up. It was
Okay.
different. And in Kenya, because I was kind of staying in the hood, I was like, I want to be with the people. So they really did not think I was American when
Uh-huh.
I was in Kenya either.
Oh, okay. Because I have to make my exploration to Africa, hopefully this year, but I haven't been there yet. So that will be an interesting dynamic to see and experience. But I've spent a lot of time in Southeast Asia, and I I haven't had that experience in terms of they'll say, "Oh, America," they are quiet. America. Oh, wait.
Mhm.
And then I'll say Washington, D.C., because everybody knows Washington, D.C.
Right.
Oh, capital, capital. So they all know capital, Washington, D.C. And then they'll
Yeah.
say, I'm to America, but they only give us 7-day visas. I'm like, 7-day visas? Who would travel that far for 7-day visas? And they like, yeah, they make it hard, for us to come to America. Um, we want to go, but they make it hard for
Mhm.
Malaysians and Vietnamese to go. And so I have, yeah, so I have received price is higher. The price is the price, unless haggling on the market price floor or whatever this and that. But I don't think it's any higher because it's already low,
Yeah.
for me. So I haven't in Southeast Asia, I haven't had that experience. But I know that Africans do have a different experience
Hmm.
in parts of Southeast Asia, where they are considered, for example, in Malaysia, they're considered because in Malaysia they've had incidents where they're scamming and things of that nature. With from Nigerians, and so they're not approved of that population. But then you have a whole population of Pakistan, Bangladesh, other immigrants here in Malaysia as well too.
Hmm.
So it's a whole dynamic
Okay.
where people are treated differently. I've heard Africans are treated different. In Vietnam, uh, I met one African in Vietnam, and I know they're there because I met another lady. But yeah, I haven't met very many Africans in Vietnam.
Okay.
You know, yeah. So I don't know what their experience may be. One was saying he was at the university. I was like, oh, that gotta be hard. He was like,
You're too
I was like,
funny.
yeah, why you in the university? Yeah, why you in the university? Child, I guess you had to get it however you can get it, but I ain't going to the university in Vietnam because
Listen.
I was telling a friend because she was like, I was thinking about signing up for the class. I said, girl, don't do that because part of the university is your peers. And you gonna be the whole time you gonna be, huh, huh,
You so silly. You said hi.
huh.
Hey,
She's like, you right. I was like, girl, 'cause
hey,
you want the whole experience and you ain't gonna have that with your peers because you gonna be like, huh, and they gonna get mad because they gonna be trying to explain it and you still gonna be, huh.
listen. I don't miss. This is what I don't miss is the my cognitive thinking. Like you trying to comprehend and translate with the accent. I'll be like, just all different accents wherever I was traveling because you have people who are from the UK or just Europe, their accents, and then you used to hearing American English, and so when you hear all this other English, it's like you're trying to like
Yeah,
your brain is processing it. It can
because
be a
it's
little
one
exhausting.
Right. When I was in Malaysia, this one guy, he asked me, he said, "Where are you from?" And he said, "I knew you were from America based on how you speak." And he said, I said, "Where did you learn English?" He said, "I learned English because English is a second language in Malaysia." He said, "I learned it in Malaysia." I said, "Really?" And he's from Afghanistan. I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, because our communities, we live in a community where we have Pakistan, Bangladesh,
Mm-hmm.
all these communities, we don't speak each other's language, so
Yep.
we have to learn English as the common language, and that's how we learn English." Uh, I said, "Okay, gotcha." He said, and then we both agreed. It was so interesting. He said, "But one language I can't understand." I said, "I already know who you're gonna say. I already know it." And I said, "Australian." He said, "Yeah, yeah." Because I can't understand them. They have their own little dialect and language. I just don't get it. I can't understand it. So I know that that's the issue. He was like, "Yep, I'll show you." That's what I was gonna say. But that is so funny, girl. Yeah, I said, but so that is an issue,
Mhm.
and we were just talking about that issue. And when I was in Paris, I know that's an issue in Paris too. Yeah, and in Barcelona and Spain, that's an issue.
That's why I said I remember I can't remember the exact experiences, but I know it was in Spain. I know for a fact it was in Spain. I just can't remember
Spain
the
be getting some
details.
heat, man, for how they Spain and Italy, you know.
I
Um,
didn't have any issues in Italy, but Spain, I can't recall them right now, but that's, yeah, I already said on my live we did together, Bali and Spain. I'm straight. I don't gotta go back. Even though I know Bali is not the country, it's Indonesia. I would like to explore Indonesia, but Bali, I'm straight.
you straight?
Spain,
Yeah, I'm straight on Bali too. I'm straight. I'm straight on Bali because I think Bali too is run more so on tourism, and so they cater to that audience of tourism and the people, and I just want a more local feel where
exactly.
it's, yeah, just I want to be with the locals. I don't want the cater to any specific group or anything, or I don't even want to bump into y'all all the time, you know. I want to be special. I want to see you here and there. I just want to be one tourist in the land.
Now, Queen of DC, you can't be like that. You the
I
Queen of DC.
know. Like I'm not an immigrant or expat.
Listen, you cannot be like that. I understand what you're saying though.
But yeah, too much tourism. Like too much tourism. Um, and another thing I was gonna say in terms of dealing with negative, what we perceive, naysayers, negativity, but sometimes I think we have to reflect on what people say because it may be some validity to it.
Hmm.
And I want to share one of those experience. And I don't think they were saying it from a negative perspective. It was from an honest perspective. This was years ago, and I remember a friend told me, he was like, "You need to learn how to manage your emotions."
Hmm.
And I was like, I mean, that really struck me because I was a big age, and I was like, and it struck me, and I said, "You know what? He's right. I do need to learn how to manage my emotions because I need to control situations of my reactions to certain things." So I want to be in control of how I react to negativity, to things that I don't like, to situations. I need to, in order to have the wherewithal, in order to have I need to be in control of my own emotions to deal with all the negativity and the naysayers, and to also reflect and know that what I'm putting out may be negative.
Hmm.
It's not healthy. And so when he said that, I really internally thought about it. And it was one of the best things he could have said, because he was saying it from a place of managing your emotions, of how you respond to things, what you say, and how you internalize and deal with that. And you know what I did?
Mm-hmm.
I was at the bookstore, and I said, I was at the bookstore, and I know everybody has this book, but I swear for God, it changed my life. I just was at the bookstore and I picked it up, and the book came out in 1997. And we all know what that book is. The Four Agreements, by Don Miguel Ruiz. It's the Four Agreements, very simple, and it's
Okay.
based on just the one that's the two that is four agreements. Be impeccable with your word and don't take anything personal. Those things stood out to me. And what it means with be impeccable with your words is watch what you say, because what you say you can't take back. And if you care for someone, then you're gonna watch what you say. You're not gonna say it with a harsh tongue like I have been saying, you know, and had been lashing out. I had to learn how to control my reaction
Mm-hmm.
to situations that I didn't like. It didn't take all that I was given necessarily in certain cases. And I really said, you know what? I'm going to try to be better with my words, because internally that creates peace within. That creates my
Mm-hmm.
confidence. That helps me manage my emotions to feel good about myself. And then the other one, don't take things personal, meaning your situation ain't got nothing to do with me. Like that man asking you about your ovaries. You know, and all
Right.
take that up with your wife and you mad at her. I ain't wake up with you. I ain't got nothing to do with that. But don't come over here bringing that on me. You ain't my man. You know what I'm saying? So that has nothing to. So I'm not gonna take it personal. You just gonna go about your business and you gonna leave me alone and shut up talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
So those two really stuck with me. And man, did I change 180. I changed my life and how I dealt with situations for the better. And I was able not to let negativity stick around, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and and not internalize what people were saying to me, and being like, I should have said this, I should have said this. I hate no, address it, confront it, and then go about your business. So those two agreements, and I think the other agreement was um, uh, don't make assumptions.
Mm-hmm.
And that helped me too, because I'm not going to assume, I'm just going to ask. And I'm very intentional. And as I told you, I know my intent, and my intent is never to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And if I've done something, please let me know so that I can, if it's worth salvaging, so I can rectify it. You know, if you feel it's worth salvaging, then let's discuss. So to give me an opportunity to rectify, because if I don't know, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is always do your best. So I always do my best, but but those really stuck with me and just changed my life, girl. I told him to this day now, I say, "Woo, child, you changed my life. You ain't know that you changed my life." He said, "You did. You needed to learn how to manage your emotions because you was out of control."
Well, guess what, Shine? Guess what? I'm still popping off, so I'm not doing. I'm playing. I'm playing. I'm playing.
You got to be, but you got to be ready to pop off. I didn't say I wasn't ready. I ain't say I wasn't ready to pop off. I just said most situations I
I'm,
have learned.
I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm
I know
joking.
most situations I've learned to control my own emotions and manage those for peace within. You know, so that's how I use that book, and I highly recommend it. And it's a book that's been around so long, but and it's very simple. You can read it in a day. Very little small book, very simple, but it's very strong in its words. She'd be like, right? And then
Mm.
some days when I was just, ooh, I go back, give me that book. On my nerves. And I read it and I calm down. And I was like, if it's a person you care about, you don't want to say the wrong things.
Exactly. And I think, I know emotional intelligence is the buzzword now, but it falls underneath that category for me. Like
Yeah.
when we're talking about, I know how people were going to react with me sharing certain things, and I didn't want to have to pop off, right? I didn't want to lose relationships because I would be inundated with different responses. So if I tell Sean and she coming with me with all these questions, then I go and then tell this person, that person all in one day. Now by the time I tell the fifth person, I'm upset. Now I can't manage my emotions, right? And now I'm
Mhm.
upset or whatever. So I do agree with that. There are some you do need to reflect on certain things that people say because it some most more times than not it is coming from a place of love. But you know what? This a whole other live. People just
Okay.
be haters. It's people just hate.
Oh, yeah,
I
people just hate. They just hate, and then that's why you got to be ready to pop off. But no, or put them in their place. And you know what, Tasha? And we're gonna wrap up. But I think that was what maybe 4, 5, a couple of just to go through. I also use a litmus test. You know what I'm saying? A litmus test is where are you and where am I?
Mhm.
Okay, well, I only got to listen to what you say. You know what I'm saying? Like person giving me unsolicited business advice. Okay, you still work on the plantation. Period. Period. We don't have nothing to talk about. We don't have nothing to talk about. You're on the plantation. Once you get off the plantation, then you can tell me something. Okay?
Right.
About business. I've had a
Exactly.
business, got a business. You know what I'm saying? So don't tell me that. And then the other thing is I think you should can ask people, um, is there a problem? I
You
think
know what? My go-to is, "Are you okay?"
yeah,
Like, like,
right. Yeah. Ask if everything is okay. Is everything okay? You good? What's wrong with you? No, nothing ain't wrong with me. Then why the hostility? Why the
right.
negativity? And then you put them on the spot. Then
Exactly.
they calm down. They either shut up or they reverse. You know. And the other thing is, you have to stand on business, as they say,
Mhm.
stand on business. If that's your resolve, it is what it is. Period. That's it. And
Mhm.
back to my boundaries and my parameters. And that's how we deal with the negativities in these situations. And those are our strategies. And hopefully those strategies will help you. And it's a matter of just sticking with your resolve and being confident in your decision to do whatever it may be. And you're going to have people who don't understand your vision, and that is perfectly okay. You don't have to discuss it with them. You're not obliged to share that information until you're ready to share it. You can't tell everybody what you're doing, because if you want to save yourself some stress, less headache, less all the 50 million questions, then keep it on the hush until you
Exactly.
got it all worked out. And then just really be true, to yourself. And if you need to manage your emotions and figure out your own piece, work on that as well. So,
Yeah, and I would just say this too, like I don't want anyone on the replay gang and all of that. Make sure you leave your comments too. We want to join in because me and Sean both engage in when people leave comments in the replay gang. But and also too, make sure you hit that like button for you everyone
oh
on this live right now. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you ain't subscribed because Sean got the best shorts. He giving you all this information on how to retire early in Malaysia, Southeast Asia. Hit that subscribe button. And if you really care, hit that share button to your Facebook page so people can see the videos. If you in travel groups on Facebook, share. Don't be stingy with this. So
no, yeah, don't be stingy. And y'all subscribe to Tasha's channel. Tasha's Journey. Let me put that up real quick so they know where to reach you, Tasha.
Thank you.
Um,
I was the
yeah,
one thing I was gonna say before real quick is I don't want people to misconstrue this as saying, oh, if people don't just be your biggest cheerleaders, that they're haters. No, it's the tone, what Shine had mentioned before, and then it's these undercutting comments when you decide to stand on business and set the parameter, not mentioning it. Oh, I guess you don't want to talk about your little business no more. I guess you don't want to talk about your little, you know what I mean? So that part, that's where
your
I'm saying
look,
you're
your
a hater.
look.
Yeah, that you're a hater because I don't need, my friends and family, they don't have to encourage and support everything I do. That's not what I'm asking for. However, if you don't agree with me, we can just agree to disagree. But don't come over here and insist on being negative with what I decide to do with my life. That's my last little tidbit.
Well, thank you, Tasha. I appreciate your time. I know you have a busy schedule and it's evening where you are. Please
Yeah.
subscribe to Tasha Journeys. Great financial advice, information. She does Q&A and lives, beneficial, and also her travel tips and advice. But on the financial guard, so much wealth of information that I think will be beneficial to you as you whatever you plan to do as you devise your plan to pursue your dreams, whatever that may be. Thank you, Tasha. I appreciate you. And if we haven't learned nothing else today, we learned you got to be ready to pop off. Tasha from the D.
Oh, that's so funny.
Girl, I'm going to use that quote. Thank you. Love
Oh,
you. Thank you
bye,
so much.
everybody.
All right. Thank you to all my viewers and supporters and subscribers. Please subscribe, like, and share, and subscribe to Tasha Journeys as well. Thank you all. Had a great time. Peace.